I'm gonna go ahead and take you on a journey with me, step by step, on how I shoot my TikTok videos, how I plan everything from beginning to end, and you're gonna see the end result. My goal is 200,000 views for this video. Before I get started, go ahead and check the description below for my free community. I'm trying to help 10,000 creators grow and monetize on TikTok, so if you wanna be a part of that, go ahead and check the description below. Now let's hop into my computer. All right, let's go ahead and make a viral video step by step. The first thing we're gonna go ahead and do is plan our video. And as you can see here, it says total addressable market. This is something that you wanna think of before you even start creating your videos. So what is the total addressable market? Your total addressable market is the amount of people, the total amount of people that are interested in what you're talking about. So some niches are gonna be much smaller. Some niches are gonna be much bigger. For example, lifestyle, beauty, skincare, those things are pretty big niches and a lot of people care about them. Same with something like fitness or sports. Those are pretty big niches. There are very small niches as well. Something a little smaller like book talk or what I do, social media growth, TikTok growth, YouTube growth, those kind of things are going to be a little more niche. So your ceiling for getting views is going to depend on what your total addressable market is. So for me, the top level, the most views that people get in my niche are like 1 to 2 million. You're going to top out there. I had a video that hit about 2.7 million, and that was really the high end for my niche. So my goal here is to hit a video with about 200,000 views, and my average views in terms of the total views divided by the number of videos that I have is like 40 or 50,000. So I'm trying to hit a video that at least hits 200,000 views. And it's going to take a little bit of time, I think, as well. Usually videos don't just rip, especially in my niche. A lot of times it builds up over, a few days, 2 weeks. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that process the first day, and hopefully we eventually hit 200,000 views. So I'm going to go ahead and elect there's two different types of addressable markets. You have the largest addressable market possible, and that is a more viral potential but less depth. So you're going to talk about a more overarching subject instead of something that's really specific. Or you could talk to a specific avatar, which there's a lot less potential virality, but there's a lot more depth. So if you're trying to sell something and you're trying to really connect with somebody, you might only get maybe 3, 5, or 10,000 views, for example, but you're speaking to that single avatar and directing it towards them so that they build that trust with you because you know exactly what they're going through. So if you targeted a specific avatar like stay-at-home moms, something like that, right? You're talking directly to somebody that will understand exactly what you're talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and elect to do the largest niche audience, and this is actually helpful here. TikTok is launching a new TikTok Notes app. So there's going to be a new photo app that's going to go ahead and take over Instagram. You'll probably get a video before this video because I'm shooting this before I shoot that video because I'm still trying to get screenshots and recordings and see if there's a few people that have some first looks. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys that first look. So you might see that. You might have already seen that video on my account before it happened. So hopefully that video does well. The next thing that we're going to look at here is a validated idea. And so you want to go ahead and pre-validate ideas. Obviously, I know this idea is going to do well simply because of the total addressable market. This is not only people who want to grow on TikTok, but this affects everybody on TikTok. So I assume that I have a chance to go viral with this video. And it doesn't always play out exactly that way, but I'm going to go ahead and use this idea to try to do that. Now, there are 3 great places you can go ahead and try to find validated ideas. The first place here is TikTok. You can just go to TikTok, search your niche, find the most viral content, the most viral ideas, go ahead, write them down, put them somewhere, save them for when you need to go ahead and create videos. But the second way I'm going to show you here is searching Reddit or X for active forums, topics, news stories, etc. That's exactly what I did with this account. I found a screenshot somewhere on Reddit. I don't know if it's still up here somewhere. Maybe not, make money. But this is a Reddit forum for TikTok help. And so I can dive on here and see people's problems, questions, trends, those kind of things. So I scroll through here and people have problems with original content, for example. So I've made a few pieces of content about 0 views glitch and making original content and what the Creator Rewards program wants out of you simply from coming here and finding problems and things that people are having in the community, in the forum, because a lot of times other people are going to have that as well. But you guys can go ahead and go up here and search anything in Reddit, find communities, find hot topics, things that are super controversial, and go ahead and use those in your content. So Reddit is a great place to go ahead and find validated ideas or things that are going to start to trend. Okay, as you guys can see right here, I have this pulled up, and there is Reddit and X on top, TikTok, and then Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. So Reddit and X are going to be the news, the infos, the stories. You guys have seen Reddit stories, Reddit infos. A lot of the news, a lot of breaking things come here in different communities that people talk about. Then, and my example will be the news story about Morgan Wallen recently here. He threw a chair off the 6th floor of a bar and he got arrested for it. And so the news broke on these platforms. And then you go to TikTok, right? So then you have trends. So then you have a lot of country people that are remixing his songs, talking about throwing the chair off the roof, right? And people are going viral and making those sounds and making those covers. And so that's where trends happen, right? And then after those things happen, they break on TikTok and then they get repurposed to Facebook and YouTube and Instagram, right? So this is kind of the hierarchy of how content gets pushed out on social in general. So if you can go ahead and find some of these stories, this info, this trending stuff that's in Reddit, where they're really talking deeply about a single subject because they're all communities, then you're going to go ahead and find stories that really resonate with your niche or what you talk about, right? So that's a really, really good place to start. Now let's talk about number 3, identifying your format. So the framework of your episode. That's a lot of how I like to think about it when you're creating content. What is the framework of your video, your episode? Think about anything like, I don't know, Dora the Explorer. I just made a video recently about showing how that process goes from A to Z. You meet Dora, you meet Boots, and then you get introduced to a problem. You find the map that's going to take you from A to Z. She pulls out the map and then they go ahead and go on the adventure. But by the end, everything is successful. What's your framework? What's your format of your video? So for example, like faceless content, there are a lot of quiz videos that I'm seeing. There are, a lot of different things that people do with faceless content, but thinking about how you're going to frame each video that you do is going to help you with the process. Once you find an idea, an established idea, you can go ahead and apply that to the format, the way that you structure your episodes, and then you can go ahead and continue to put content out that way. If you do educational, inspirational content a lot, at times it's going to be what I'm doing right here, just speaking, talking at the camera, vlog style, some, but for the most part, it's going to be talking head videos. Now with entertaining, you might do some sort of skit, or you might do like a pretend podcast, or you're going to do some actual lifestyle stuff, or make cuts, do those kind of things, right? And so there are so many ways and formats about entertaining content. And then finally, you have the lifestyle content, the Get Ready With Me's, the vlogs, and those things. So I'm going to go ahead and do my educational, inspirational style of talking head video with B-roll. That's what my audience knows me for. But I'm going to go ahead and do a couple different things that are going to make it a little more special. I'm going to use a higher end camera instead of my phone. I'm going to use a talking mic. I'm going to wear this loud shirt, for example. And so you'll see that in the video that I create. Okay. And then we're going to go here to number 4. We're going to go ahead and define that value proposition. I'm going to go ahead and talk about a lot about the lifestyle content, but the value proposition of your content is the most important piece. It's the reason why people follow you. It's the reason why people watch you consistently, is because of your value proposition. So there are only 2 types of creators. There are selfish creators and there are selfless creators. Let's talk about selfish creators first. Selfish creators are selling. They're pushing an agenda. They're pushing their music. They're doing Get Ready With Me's. They're doing vlogs. They are trying to generate views only for the simple fact they want to get paid, right? That's the process that's going on in your brain as a creator. You're creating selfish content. Now, the reason that that's not good is because nobody wants to continually be sold to. Think about it from the music perspective, for example. People create over and over again trying to push their music, and they go ahead and push that on you. That's just like trying to sell you something. If you're comfortable with being sold to all the time, that's fine. But most people don't want to be sold to. They're in it. The viewer's in it for themselves. And so, what can you give them instead of what can you try to get them or try to sell them, right? So, selfish content does not work, and a lot of people try to do this, and their content gets stagnant when it comes from that mindset, with that intent. Now, selfless content, for example, is giving intangible advice, high level advice. That's what I try to do on my account, right? I try to give people the most tangible advice that they can use right now in order to get a result. And that result, the positive emotion, is what's going to build that trust between you and I as the viewer, without the need to ask for anything in return, right? I'm not going to ask you to buy anything from me, right? I'm going to give you this info. Hopefully you can take it, grow your account with it, and we build the trust that way. And you'll keep coming and watching my content. And eventually, if you trust me enough, or you have a specific problem that you want done, you and I will eventually get on a call, or you'll join the community, those kind of things, right? But I'm not going to ask you for those things. But creating a positive emotion, creating an escape. A lot of entertaining content is creating an escape for somebody who has been working a 9 to 5 all day. They're frustrated, those kind of things, but they can go ahead and escape with somebody's content. You're giving them that avenue. And that's what you should be thinking as a content creator, or giving recommendations without commission in mind. Think about a lot of the beauty, lifestyle, vlog type creators. I'm talking to you because you see Alex Earl and all these other content creators. They are doing Get Ready With Me's, they're doing vlogs, but that's actually selfish content. But the reason that they can get away with it is because people already care about them. They already have 6, 7, 8, 10 million followers, right? And so they already have a base foundation of people that truly care about them and will watch content from them no matter what, regardless, right? Their face turns into the hook. So anytime they see their face, they'll just stop and watch it, whether it's a Get Ready With Me, whether it's selfish or selfless content. But you can't get away with that if you're a new creator or you're trying to grow. So you want to make sure that you're providing tangible value. If you're a lifestyle creator, you're not doing Get Ready With Me. Maybe you're doing a list style video, these 3 things, these 5 things, and you can even say it in the video that I'm not trying to get paid for these things. These are things that I truly use, right? And that's the best way to go about it with intent and to not want anything in return. Okay. So that's a really big thing for the vlog, lifestyle, beauty style creators, is that you're going to try to not want anything in return. And in turn, that's going to go ahead and build that trust. So eventually when you want to go ahead and sell something, or you do want to say, you know what, I finally took a brand deal. And people are going to be like, oh my gosh, it must be a really good product. You never sell anything. So if you're selling something, it's good. That's the framework. That's the mindset I want you guys to go ahead and put your viewers in. So that's fine in defining your value proposition. So my value proposition for this video is providing tangible value to inform the audience with good intent, giving value to do better right now. So in the video, I'm going to tell them what they can do better with this information, and then ultimately do that without selling anything. Okay. All right, now let's get to scripting your video. There's 2 different ways you can go ahead and script a video. You can do it word for word, or you can go ahead and do it just an outline style. And so if you go ahead and plan your video, you want to make sure you at least guaranteed to plan your verbal hook, your text hook, and your visual hook. The first 5 seconds. These are the most important seconds of your video, because if somebody doesn't take a chance on your video, then they're not going to watch the rest of your video anyway. So you want to get this part right, and you want to spend the most time thinking about this part and on this part. And the rest of your video, even if 5 or 10 or 20% people see it, cool. But 100% of people are going to see your first second. So with that being said, you're going to go ahead and identify all 3 of those hooks. So my hook is going to be, TikTok is going to launch a new app that's going viral, or that's going to rival Instagram. Okay, so that's going to be my verbal hook thing I'm going to say. My visual hook, I'm going to wear this loud shirt. I'm going to use my extremely high def video style as compared to like a screen selfie of a phone, right? So I'm going to do a high def video, and I'm going to be holding kind of a big microphone that most people wouldn't show on a video. So I'm going to go ahead and do those things, okay? And then my text hook is going to be TikTok launching a new app. Or I spelled that wrong. Launching a new app. And then I'm going to put some sort of sticker to the side. Maybe it'll be like a camera, or maybe it'll be like a, what are those graphs that goes upwards, okay? Something like that. But I'll put a sticker there. So it's going to capture some sort of attention there with their eyeballs. I'm going to put it at 2/3 up the way of the phone, because most people, when they're scrolling, they're looking at that part. So I want that text hook to hit them first, okay? After you have all of that, you're going to want to outline the main points of your video, okay? Your call to action strategy. What are you going to do for a call to action? I actually am not going to do any kind of call to action, but I'm going to go ahead and list my photo carousel video in my description, and I'll show you exactly how to do that in the upload phase. But for now, you're going to go ahead and plan out your video and do your call to action strategy. So when planning out your video, you just want to list out your ideas and those, some small points about them. Okay, that's pretty simple, self-explanatory. Now, if you want to do word for word script, I'm going to give you a tip that I usually do when I do these word for word. I do it more for YouTube than I do on TikTok. But I go ahead and go up to tools here on Word docs. Gosh, I always forget to name my documents. But you go up and go to tools, and you'll go down to voice typing. Okay. I'll actually turn it back on here. And so you can see that you can go ahead and click to speak, and I'll go ahead and maybe take this to the next page. And you can see that it's currently typing for me right now. As fast as I can talk, it's going to go ahead and get all that information for me. It's way faster than your ability to be able to type. See, so you can get all of those words out really quick. So it's definitely a much easier way to go ahead and plan out your scripts word for word, because then you can go ahead and just talk it out and practice. And the more that you do that, the easier it is to get your thoughts out. Where was I? Right here. It's easier to get your thoughts out, right, and to organize your thoughts. So if you write out your videos word for word, I do it more on YouTube most times, but not this time here. It's easier to structure exactly how you want to approach your video. So doing word for word, even on fairly short videos, is a good way, because you know you're not going to miss something, and you're going to have the best way to articulate it and have a way to think about how you're going to articulate it. So that's a big thing there with your scripting. So I'm going to go ahead and shoot the video. I'm going to talk about right here about shooting the video. I'll show you just a little clip of something that I do with my lighting, for example, that a lot of people don't understand, don't know about. It's just a little lighting tip, especially if you're in a small room, you're in an office, or you're shooting by a wall. I'll show you something really cool. But talking to the camera, the first thing I want you to do is warm up. I want you to stare at your camera, whether you hit record or whether you don't. I preferably want you to hit record so you can kind of see yourself, but just go ahead and hit record and talk about a subject for 1 minute. It could really be about anything. So, I mean, I'll just give you a quick little example here of what I would do. I'm going to talk about bodybuilding, for example. So it would be something like this. If you want to grow your chest in bodybuilding, I'm going to give you 3 exercises that you need to know. The first one is going to be the bench press. I like to do flat bench press because I feel like I can move the most weight there. And then you could go on, so on and so forth, and talk about those 3 things and just try to warm up and think about the things that you're going to say. And ultimately, so it comes out a little more clean, right? You get warmed up. A lot of times if you're trying to do your videos cold, it doesn't work nearly as well. So go ahead and warm up. The second thing I want you to know is the power box. So where your hands are, right? Your hands don't have to be flailing all over, but the more that you move your hands a little bit, I kind of move my mic a little bit just naturally because I do this. And so you'll see my hand kind of move in this little box here. And so when I'm trying to explain something, it makes you a little bit more animated. So I go ahead and move my hands inside of that box. You can do it a lot. You can do it a little, but you don't want to just be here still, because when you're not animated, people can't feel that energy off of you. I just did it. I just do it naturally, right? So just go ahead and move your hand a little bit from here or there. You can go ahead and, I don't know, even do the rapper thing. I don't know, but just loosen up a little bit, and using your hands in that power box is a great way for you to be able to just loosen up and have more energy. And then finally, speak from a smile. Right? So if you try to speak from a frown, the inflections of your voice just naturally are not as strong. But it happens, right? So if you smile a little bit, but if you want to go ahead and try to smile when you speak, you're going to hear that the inflections are just a little bit different. You're going to be a little bit more animated naturally. Your body just does it for you. So speaking from a smile is another great way to not only show emotion, but to show interest in the viewer and what you're speaking about. So go ahead and come from a smile. It'll help you a ton. So I'm going to go ahead and show you a little bit of the lighting, and then I'll go ahead and go to the edit of this video and show you exactly what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it. So let's go ahead and get into it. So this is kind of that basic setup. There's the big light bouncing right off the wall to the ambience of where I'm going to be shooting my video here. This is a Sony a6400 with a Sigma 18-35, so it's going to look nice and crispy in 4K. And then I'll take it to 1080 in the edit, but I'll show you the rest and talk about the rest of the things that I did when filming in the edit. So let's get to that. All right, so I'm here on my computer. I'm here for the edit, and what I want to show you a few things that I do in my edit to make things go a little bit faster, and some things that I keep in mind when I'm editing and shooting these videos. So the first thing I'm going to show you is I use an app called Recut. I've used it for well over a year for my YouTube videos and for my TikTok videos, and it's the way that I shoot my videos. So when I'm scripting or when I'm trying to think about a thought, I just go ahead and pause in silence for a few seconds to gather my thoughts or to read my script. The reason is because I have this AI software, Recut, that cuts out all the silence in between my videos. So if I'm going to go ahead and say a line, I'll do these, excuse me. These are the 3 things that you need to know about TikTok. And so what I'll do is I'll hold my hand in place. I'll move my eyes to either read my script or kind of memorize my script a little bit, or just to think about what I'm going to say next. And then I'll move from that exact movement. So if you guys want to know the first thing is the photo carousel feature. All right, so I dropped the video. I found a video here really quick. And as you can see, if I zoom in here, if you go ahead and you see this red right here, it's going to automatically go ahead and pause that. So if I go ahead and click, you're going to see that I can go ahead and click delete, and it'll go ahead and make those parts red. So if I want to delete all of these, I'll just go ahead and delete there, and then we'll go ahead, let's say that was just starting talk, and then it'll start directly from here. So you'd be able to do that. Same with the how loud or how quiet the spikes are that you want it to catch. So you can go ahead and do all those things, and you can go ahead and export, right? Which is great. You can go ahead and export here to not only just a video, but you can also do waveforms and those things. But even if you have DaVinci Resolve, Final Cut Pro, Premiere Pro, CapCut. So what it'll do is it'll export a file that you go ahead and drop into CapCut, and then it'll have all of those cuts pre-done for you. So I'm going to go ahead and drop those CapCut cuts and show you what that looks like in CapCut. So these are a few things that I want you guys to know now that we're in the edit. The first one here is I want you to look at the brightness. I want you to make sure that your videos are bright enough. I'm going to get myself out of the way here, and you can go ahead and go to adjustments here, and you can do the auto adjust, which is a pro feature. I have pro, but you can go ahead and even just go to the exposure and just make things just a little bit brighter or less bright. But I like to go ahead and just brighten my content a little bit because brighter videos do well for some reason. So just making sure your videos are bright enough with the lighting and everything still looks good. Now the second thing is the pacing. How many cuts? So as you're going to see here, the pacing of this video, I'm going to have kind of a lot of cuts here in the beginning, but it's to try to get people attracted to this video and kind of stay focused. And you want to make sure that you have enough cuts, because every time you make a cut, it's almost a pattern interrupt in terms of their attention starts over. It starts over every time that there's a cut. So you don't want to cut too much because it's going to feel too jarring, and it'll make some people feel too anxious, we'll say. But you want to have enough cuts to where you're cutting out the silence, and there's no silence that's just sitting and people are getting bored, right? So the third thing I want to talk about is the text placement, but I'll show you that when I go ahead and you guys see the final upload there. The fourth thing I want to talk about is using captions as well. You want to make sure you use captions. You can generate captions here in TikTok, and if you want to go, or in CapCut, excuse me, if you want to go ahead and do that, you go ahead and go to text, and then you go to click auto captions, and it'll generate auto captions here for you. I'm not going to do it because I'm going to do in-house, in TikTok captions, because there are some SEO benefits when you do the captions inside of the TikTok app. But if you want to do them in CapCut, you could do them there as well, okay? And then finally, the last thing on my list here is cutting the filler. And I just told you guys about that. It's really important, especially in the beginning, to cut that filler and a lot of the filler in between. So just go ahead and cut that out. You could use Recut to cut it out. You can cut it out manually. There's so many different ways. So make sure you go ahead and cut that filler. I'm going to go ahead and upload it, and I'm going to talk about a few things in the upload. So I'll show you where I'm at maybe a day or two later, and then I'll show you everything that I did with the upload and why I did it, so you guys can go ahead and do this for yourselves. All right, so it is the next day, and I posted the video. I'm going to show you the things that I did in the upload, and I can even show you a little bit of what I did and how I did it in the back end as well. But I have my phone over here next to me, and I posted this video yesterday, and it's currently, we're at 17 hours ago, and we're at 37.5K, which is pretty dang good. We'll take that. It's not great for some different niches like beauty or some of the AI niches that are, podcasting clips. The total addressable market's a lot bigger, but for the first 17 hours, this is pretty solid. So hopefully over the next week or so, we do hit eventually 200,000 like we wanted to. So go ahead and check and see if it actually did whenever you're watching this video, okay? But I want to show you a few things that I did in the edit for the upload. First, it talks about here the proper hashtags, okay? So you want to use 3 to 5 hashtags, okay? And a lot of times my hashtag strategy is using a big one, a big hashtag that is pretty large in terms of what it's going to cover, and then a couple of medium ones, and then a small one, okay? So I used the biggest hashtag in my total addressable market, which is social media. You can see that on the bottom, okay? Same with photos. That's actually a pretty big one too. I didn't actually realize that I did that one as well. But I use TikTok Notes. So TikTok Notes is going to be the app name. So I wanted to make sure I got the app name in there for the SEO purposes. Okay. I did photos, TikTok algorithm, which is pretty niche, TikTok growth, which is a little less niche, but still pretty niche, and then social media, which is large. Okay. So you want to use 3 to 5 hashtags, no more. If you use more, it feels like you're trying to manipulate TikTok. So you never want to feel like, make TikTok feel like you're trying to manipulate them. So 3 to 5 hashtags at the most. Okay. The next thing is my description. Okay. And so I used a couple keywords. I call it natural keyword stuffing. And you can go ahead and throw a couple keywords in your video. So TikTok is rolling out a new photo app. So I use photo called TikTok Notes, right? So TikTok Notes is what I want to rank for. And you can see up there on top, the categorization is TikTok Notes app. So I use the word app, TikTok Notes, photo, TikTok algorithm, and the hashtag, TikTok growth, social media. And so those things are all centered around what I talk about. Now, a bonus thing with that is a lot of that is also what's in my bios, because your bio has a lot to do with your categorization. So you can see TikTok growth secrets up there. And my name is TikTok Growth Secrets. So I have TikTok Growth and TikTok Growth both in my account name and my handle, as you can see. And then helping businesses, right? So helping business, keyword, creators, keyword, TikTok algorithm, keyword, right? So you have all these keywords that TikTok can pull from to know exactly what I talk about. And that's why almost every single video that I put out, influencer TikTok, TikTok Notes, grow on TikTok, sketch, I did one, TikTok algorithm, content creator, transitions, grow on TikTok, TikTok algorithm, grow on TikTok. My first Find related content, actually. A couple Find related contents here. Grow on TikTok, TikTok algorithm, Find related content, TikTok creator. But as you can see, as you scroll through, the majority of my videos, usually around 80 to 90% of my videos out of the previous 25 are categorized for something. And they may be categorized for something and then lose them. That happens as well. And that's happening more and more as the search engine of TikTok gets bigger and bigger. The better and better videos are going to find their way to the top, and some of your older videos might not hold categorizations, and that's okay. But if they're initially getting categorized, that's a really good sign, okay? So that's the hashtags in description. The next thing that I did was I plugged my video. So let's go ahead and go back to this video. As you can see, there's this tiny little link here. So it says Angel TikTok Growth there. You can do a call to action and say, if you guys want to go out and check out hashtags, this video about hashtags, go ahead and check my description. Then they can click that, and it'll take them to another video. And this is the video about photo carousels. I'm talking about TikTok Notes and photo carousels, right? So I led them to this video to show them what a photo carousel looks like and how well it's performing. 64,000 views currently from 6 days ago, okay? So you can go ahead and link those videos. I'll show you exactly how to do that. So we're gonna go to the upload screen. I'm gonna go ahead and go to one of my drafts here. We'll go to next. And then you'll see that there's hashtags, mentions, and videos. What you would do is you'd go to videos, you'd go to posted videos, and then you can link any video that you've posted there. So I'm going to go ahead and just, for example, I'll link this one, and it'll generate there. And you want it to be first because you want it to be above the fold is what they would call it. So that people don't have to maximize your captions. They can just see it and click it right then and there. And then you can type your description, and then you can type your hashtags. Okay, so that's exactly how I would do it. That's exactly how I would frame it. And then the final thing, what we're going to do is we're going to hit post, right? And so we hit post, and we are currently, like I said, we're at like 38,000, and that's, or 39,000 now. So if you guys want to go ahead and see how well that video is doing right now, probably, 3 to 8 days later, depending on when you're seeing this video, go ahead and check my account for that video. Also, if you guys want to see the first looks at the TikTok Note, I'm actually going to be shooting that video here pretty soon, and I'm going to be uploading it before I upload this video. So if you guys want to see the first look at TikTok Notes, check out this video right here.